Starcasting to you from the City of Angels. Hello, everyone. I'm Kiris. Thank you so much for being here and listening to the Voice of Astrology podcast. This is your astrology cosmic superpower for the week beginning Sunday, May 5th through Saturday, May 11th, 2024. Let's journey together with astrology and explore how to connect with the stars, the planets, the energies for our new week ahead. This May is magnificent and magical with all of the meteor showers that we are having. Now, on May 5th, as we start off the week, before dawn, we have what's called the Eta Aquariid meteor shower. And we can view this before dawn on Sunday the 5th and Monday the 6th, 2024. With the new moon a few days away, there won't be any moonlight to hinder meteor watching, and under ideal conditions you might get to see around 20 meteors per hour. Now, on the morning of May 6, we have the moon near the planet Mercury. The slender waning crescent moon will lie near Mercury. They will both lie low on the horizon. Binoculars might help locate them. Reddish Mars will also be higher in the sky. And look for the lovely glow on the unlit side of the moon. That's reflected light from the earth, and it's called Earthshine. The new moon coming up in Taurus on May 7th and or 8th, depending on your time zone, that is the perfect time for stargazing. On May 9th, we have the planet Mercury, the messenger, the communicator, at its greatest morning elongation, away from the sun, 26 degrees from the morning sun. Really think things through before you make a decision and sign on the dotted line. In the evening on May 10th, we get a real sky treat with the waxing crescent moon glowing with earthshine. The moon will be between two bright, magnificent stars, the golden fixed star Capella, which is the gift that keeps on giving, and in contrast to the golden Capella is the bright red supergiant star Betelgeuse. You can follow both stars until almost midnight. Sunday, May 5th, we have Mercury coming out of its storm shadow cycle. Mercury is now fully up to speed. Mercury is in Aries, ruled by Mars, which moves quickly. We also have the moon in Aries as we are starting off the week. And the moon in Aries is making a conjunction to Mercury in Aries. So this moon Mercury conjunction in the sign of cardinal fire, let's get something started, is how we are starting off the week, along with us being in what's called the dark balsamic moon phase. So this inner phase right before the new moon in Taurus is a time frame with this moon Mercury in Aries where we get fired up about something, excited, enthusiastic about something. We want to begin something new. Now, along with this, as we are starting off the week, the moon this week is going in what's called out of bounds by declination. So when a planet, and in this case the moon, which rules over the public, the people, popularity, the moon, which are our emotions connected to feeling safe at home with family, with the familiar. The moon going out of bounds this week is the intensity of the emotion. When a planet is out of bounds, you could think of it as the planet has gone rogue. It's like a wild card. The planet is not staying within the limitations of where and how it is supposed to function and get the job done. It's like a wild card. That's an out of bounds planet, meaning everything is intensified and amped up. Because the moon does rule over the public and everyday matters, it's like the public has gone wild. It's that kind of feel. For instance, what we were watching last night on the college campuses around Los Angeles, UCLA, which is a gorgeous campus. The students at UCLA surrounded the police. This is potentially a very dangerous situation, to say the least, and it was shown live all night. And now, as we are approaching this moon out of bounds later on in the week with the new moon in Taurus, which is about boundaries, going to get to that, we can see the trajectory of the week and the emotion of the public, how this is building this kind of energy. Also, with the week starting off with the Moon-Mercury conjunction in Aries in what's called the dark balsamic, on a more personal level, this is your sense of how you want to get something new started at the time of the new moon with your sense of self, your identity, your image, how you want to present yourself to the world, a greater sense of I am, which is Aries' first sign of the zodiac. Monday, May 6th, we have the moon moving into her exaltation in the fixed earth sign of Taurus, ruled by Venus. Venus is now at home in her castle in the sign of Taurus, and with the moon in Taurus making a square to Pluto in Aquarius, this is a conflict that needs to be resolved in the area of the subconscious fears that stop you from moving forward. The moon is the past, it's memory. Some memories are beautiful. They give us energy, and we're happy to remember gorgeous memories. But some memories, some subconscious drives, this is the moon that ties into what you believe is rightfully yours. Remember, Taurus is the sign of I have. Pluto in Aquarius is about freedom and independence and letting things go. It's air, not holding on to things. So this moon square Pluto is the resolution, the potential to resolve and make peace, because Taurus wants peace above all else. Taurus wants to make peace with what you feel is yours and what it is time to have a different mindset, a different perception about. This is Aquarius, a mindset. What it is that it's time to liberate yourself from. This is the sign of Aquarius, and Pluto is transformation, the death, rebirth cycle. Also on this Monday, May 6th, we have the Sun in Taurus making a sextile aspect to Saturn in Pisces. So the sextile aspect is an opportunity for a very favorable outcome when we make the commitment and the determination. This is fixed earth Taurus, seeing something through no matter what. When we make that promise to ourselves that we are willing to work and do whatever it takes to achieve the goal, Sun-Saturn sextile can bring beautiful clarity in a decision that you've been trying to make, and the determination, fixed earth Taurus, and seeing it through no matter what. Tuesday, May 7th, it is Mars Day on Tuesday, and we've got the new moon at 18 degrees Taurus. Now, 18 degrees Taurus is what's called the North Node of Mars. This new moon in Taurus, when the moon lines up with the sun to fill up with new energy and power on the moon's new journey. This is a cazimi, which means in the heart of the sun. So the moon going to the heart of the sun is the moon being lit up with the light and power of the sun. The moon in Taurus makes a conjunction to Venus at home in Taurus. So romantic. Moon in Taurus makes a sextile to Saturn in Pisces. The new moon is always corresponding to springtime, no matter what time of year, season we are in. These are fabulous money placements, taking action with getting a new job, asking for a raise, a bonus, increasing the abundance and the income is a big part of this new moon in Taurus. The second decanate of Taurus brings in a Virgo Mercury influence. This is also getting very practical, Virgo, with what it is that you're doing in your financial area of life. Taurus is the sign of boundaries. My space. This is what I have. Taurus corresponds to that toddler stage of development where the brain is being wired at that age, 2 to 3.5-ish, in the terrible twos, as it is called. This is the stage of development where the brain is being wired for protection. When kids at that age are saying no and having temper tantrums, what actually is being developed is the brain's ability to protect itself by saying no, by getting angry. Everything in our human nature has an appropriate time and place. So the new moon in Taurus, no matter what age you are, is the new action in the area of what are your personal boundaries? What is the space, your space? Remember, Taurus says, I have. What is the personal space that you want protected? When we watch interviews, or if you've ever watched an interview of a predator in prison, they will always say that they looked for the most docile child that would not fight back. Your anger has an appropriate time and place. This is connected with your cosmic power that you are born with to say no, to protect your boundary, to uphold your boundary, to get angry if your boundary is not protected. That's part of the function of why the brain is being wired in the Taurus stage of development. Anger at its best and best appropriateness is you protecting yourself. So one of the things to reflect on with this new moon, which is the dark balsamic side of the moon. New moon is the action, but one of the things to think about, reflect on, look at in your life is, 1, do you know what your own boundaries are to begin with? 2, do you uphold the boundaries? And it works both ways, meaning we want our boundaries respected. It means we also have to respect the boundaries of others. Now, Taurus rules over the throat. And the throat is not only what we take in, but the throat area is what we say and how we say it. Boundaries having to do with how we speak to each other, or how we allow or not someone to speak to us. With my male clients, one of the top concerns that a male client has with me as an astrologer, in their marriage, they will say, the way she speaks to me. I actually had a client one time, gorgeous blonde anchor woman, and she came in and I saw in the reading that her communication style showed that she didn't speak to her husband respectfully, the appropriate boundaries. And I said to her point blank, Do you think you have the right to speak to your husband the way you do because you're so beautiful? And she was completely serious and said, yes, I do. Her response in the reading was the entitlement of, because she was so beautiful, certain appropriate boundaries that everyone should have was overstepped. This is a new moon in Taurus, and Taurus is very in tune to all of the different sensations. Taurus is nature, Gaia, Mother Earth. So everything from music, which Taurus, of course, loves, some of the best vocalists that have ever lived on the planet, Ella Fitzgerald, and then some. They have Mercury in Taurus and are a Taurus. Ella Fitzgerald was a Taurus. But when it comes to music and fragrance and beauty and visual and all of that, Taurus, ruled by Venus, is very aware of the senses and the pleasures of how the senses can make us feel. One of the most important is sound vibration. Watch an opera singer sometime. Download this on YouTube. Watch an opera singer sometime shatter glass with their voice. The power of sound vibration, what we say, how we say it, is a big part of this new moon in Taurus, ruling over the throat chakra and the throat area, and the new moon action as far as taking action and how you respect and want your boundaries to be respected in all areas, not just the voice, but the sound vibration is a cosmic power. Obviously, we've all heard the phrase, in the beginning was the word. There are theories that some people believe that the pyramids themselves were created with sound vibration, sound energy. This new moon in Taurus, which is decisive, enduring, it's fixed, it goes the distance, can be for you a fabulous time to make the decision that your boundaries will be respected. I don't know about you, but when I watch and see on social media just how far it goes as far as boundaries not being respected, one example is someone makes a comment and then it turns into a slugfest. Doesn't have to go that way. It could be a Taurus, peaceful, Venus-ruled conversation, but it seems as though these days that would be a rarity, not the norm. Also with Taurus and the new moon in Taurus, that rules over music. And as Shakespeare once said, if music be the food of love, play on. Shakespeare, by the way, was a Taurus. And think about how it makes you feel when you listen to music that just takes you to another level, whatever your type of music may be. So take the action with this new moon in Taurus to uphold your boundaries and make sure that your boundaries, your space, is respected. Wednesday, May 8th, we still have the moon in Taurus making a conjunction to Uranus in Taurus, a conjunction to Jupiter in Taurus, and the moon in Taurus makes a sextile aspect to Neptune in Pisces. So the very favorable aspects that we're having, the cosmic energies, to move something forward in a very favorable financial way continues on the 8th. Then later on in the afternoon, depending on your time zone, the moon enters mutable air Gemini. Mutable air Gemini is that cosmic power to adapt, to change, to roll with whatever is going on. Gemini is very open-minded. It's fabulous for sales, promotion, making some really good deals. On Wednesday, which is Mercury's day, by the way, is enhanced with the moon not only in Gemini, but the moon in Gemini making an air trine flow to Pluto in Aquarius. Moon trine Pluto in the element of air is communicating and stating exactly what it is that you would like to negotiate, and these can be some life-changing negotiations in a very favorable way. Thursday, Jupiter's day, we still have the moon in Gemini making a square aspect to Saturn in Pisces. This is a somber, a get real aspect happening here. The moon in Gemini rules over the news, gossip, information. The moon in Gemini making the square aspect to Saturn in Pisces can be a block, a stopping, because that's what Saturn does. It upholds the boundary and says you're not going any further. So with the moon making this square aspect to Saturn and Pisces, this can be not only a somber type of feel and a blocking Saturn, but also the confusion of whatever it is that you're hearing, whatever is in the news, what is the truth, what is a lie. This blending of air and water is very stormy. So on May 9th, with the moon square Saturn, just wait. The moon is going out of bounds. Try to keep it cool. Try not to overreact. And that's a good rule of thumb always. But on this day, with the moon going out of bounds, just take a pause and think about before you react in the area of what it is that you're hearing information-wise. The public's reaction can get easily flared up, not only with the moon square Saturn, but with the moon out of bounds. Friday, May 10th, the confusion continues because we still have the moon in Gemini now making a square to Neptune in Pisces. Again, Friday is Venus's day. Keep the peace. Later on in the evening, the moon goes home to her domicile. She enters the sign of cardinal water Cancer. Moon at home in Cancer is not only being very sensitive and connected to the emotional body. The moon in Cancer wants to go home. That feeling of the familiar, the tried and true, your family, the things that give you comfort. This is the moon entering the sign of Cancer. It is also a fabulous cosmic superpower to be in touch and connected to how you feel. The moon is now waxing, gaining in light. We see that beautiful crescent baby new moon, which is always just so exciting and enchanting to see. The comfort of family, food, and friends is the moon going home to the sign of Cancer. Saturday, May 11th, as we close out the week, we've got the moon at home in Cancer, making an inconjunct aspect to Pluto in Aquarius, and the moon in Cancer makes a square aspect to Mars in Aries. Now, the moon in conjunct Pluto, the moon in conjunct is that trying to adapt and feeling very frustrated. This is the inconjunct aspect. The frustration and or the annoyance of how to make changes and adaptations. Because we're looking at water and air, it's trying to bring into balance how you feel with how you think, meaning Pluto in Aquarius, a different and new perspective, attitude, way of thinking about things. But the inconjunct can be frustrating, annoying. It's trying to make the changes, trying to adapt. The moon in Cancer square Mars is quite volatile, to say the least. This moon square Mars is the test after the new moon in Taurus we just had, as far as testing your new sense of boundaries. Walk away. Don't engage. Don't get into it. This, again, is a very combustible, combative, moon square Mars energy. The moon at home in Cancer is feminine. It's your intuition, how you feel. Mars in Aries is outgoing energy. Let's take action. Let's do something about it. Let's take action and ask questions. Think about it later on. So this blending of water and fire, hot and cold, steam, passion. This test of the moon square Mars right after the new moon in Taurus. And we have to be tested to see how we are going to handle the new level of empowerment. So whatever is going on in your life as we close out the week, a moon out of bounds, which can get very heated. Think about this as we contemplate at the time of the new moon. What boundary, what space you want protected and upheld. Then as we close out the week, the test, the challenge will arrive. You always have the power. You have the free will and choice. Nothing up in the sky is making you, forcing you to do anything. The lights, the spotlights in the sky highlight for us patterns in certain times where it is conducive to do something or not. So as we close out the week, it's your free will and choice how you will handle a boundary that perhaps you may be overstepping, and or a boundary that you want protected, your space. When you make a promise to yourself, which is also very much about this new moon in Taurus. For an example, you promised yourself you're not going to react. You perhaps promised yourself you're not going to use certain language or get into an argument with someone. Whatever it may be, this new moon in Taurus is also about value and what has value, self-worth. Taurus is the sign of the talents and abilities that you were born with that are of great value, and how you will take care of, nurture, create, express the innate values and talents, your self-worth that you were born with. So with this new moon in Taurus, when you think about you made a promise to yourself, you took a vow, and you're going to fixed earth Taurus stick with it. Just think about how good it feels and how your sense of self-esteem and self-worth just jumps so far high when you make that promise to yourself and keep it. That's when the self-esteem, the Taurus value and worth pays off in the investment. Taurus is a money sign. It's very much about the investments we make. Make the decision with the new moon in Taurus to invest in yourself, your sense of esteem and self-worth, because you made a promise to yourself that you will or will not do certain things. And this is a biggie, because when we are in that toddler stage of life, what happens to a child at that stage is so key further down the line in life as far as what you will say yes or no to. It's so important. I can't emphasize it enough. I think I've said it like 3 times during this recording, how key it is that you make a promise to yourself and uphold it. That's where the return on the investment and your sense of boundary, what you will or will not do can pay off big time and then some. Jupiter in Taurus with this new moon in Taurus. This sense of boundary plays out again and again and again in life, where someone or some situation tries to influence you to cross a boundary of yours that you are not comfortable with. It usually will involve money, not always, but a lot of the time. It involves a price. And say like I say, I guess you didn't see the not for sale sign on my back. The price is too high, no deal. Because there is no price that is worth the self-esteem, self-love, and self-worth that you have and are developing with this new moon in Taurus. There is no price that can match that. The answer, like the terrible 2 toddler, is no. Somewhere in your personal astrology chart, which is based on your birthday time and place, you have the sign of Taurus on one of the 12 houses. So whether you are a Taurus or not, somewhere in your life where Taurus is in your chart, this can show where you have things to develop in the area of saying, like the Taurus baby, the terrible 2 Taurus, I said no, and I'm sticking with it. With this new moon in Taurus, get some Taurus, some fixed earth Taurus in your life, where you stand your ground and the price is too high, it's not worth it, and you are not for sale. The answer is no. Thank you everyone for being here and listening to the Voice of Astrology podcast. What a week coming up, and I will see you all in the stars.